Hello my witches, I'm merciless_witch, and today, I will continue my unsuccessful career of being an underrated and completely ignored creator on this platform. How iconic, I know right? For all those people who already know me, you know that this tier list is my opinion, and what I usually like to play as killer, and what not. You can pull a potato legion by crying about how bad because I'm not ranking like you want to, but be assured that I will completely delete your comment and cancel you with my 1 subscriber on Twitter and YouTube. Now jokes besides, let's get into the video. There are 6 ranks. F4 Fog should destroy those perks. D4 Dayfuke are you trying to do with those? C4 Cry please somewhere else, if you are using those. B4 being okayish if I wouldn't had anything else. A4 awesome but not awesome enough to be in S, and S4 skills not required. Yes I know, those names are so iconic like me. Oh hole, and before we start I will not tell you the worst perk from every tier in the game until the end, because I think this is more interesting and maybe funnier to watch. I also forgot one perk because there are way too much, so please don't cancel me for that please, thanks. Under those perks are some shockers in there because I implemented some community ranks again, and to say it at least, I can understand you if you are losing 24/7 for using that perk. Place 91, Strider, you are acutely sensitive to the breathing of your prey. Increases the volume of survivors' grunts of pain by 50%. Increases the volume of survivors' regular breathing by 25%. Congrats for not being the last Strider, because you are useless except for the spirit. Why and how are people still using this perk in 2022? Is your headset so worse that you can't hear them moaning over the whole map? Even my old €20 wireless earbuds are doing that job, so please get €30 for a better headset, and stop using this. And what is shocking me more is that this perk is place 66 on the community. Are you alright, or did I miss something in the world? Place 90, Distressing, your horrifying emanation strikes at a supernaturally long distance. Increases your terror radius by 26%. Grants 100% bonus blood points for all actions in the deviousness category. Yay, another perk which is only useful for killer, for the doctor to be exact. Again, why would somebody in the name of hell touch this, or use this in a round? Well, I don't know the reason because I'm not a psychopath, but maybe you can tell me the reason because you voted for this perk on the community place 70. I can't and won't understand why people would even in hell use it, even if they wouldn't had anything better. Place 89, Hagman's Trick, unlocks potential in your aura reading ability, and your ingenious modifications to hooks alert you of tampering. Gain a loud noise notification whenever a survivor begins sabotaging a hook. While carrying a survivor, see the aura of any survivor within 6 meters of any hook. Yes, this is what we need. Getting 300 notifications when a survivor is sabotaging a hook, and see all survivor if they should be in a near of a hook. Why should I be bothered with it? I already know that the survivor wants to tank all the hits to the hook, so this is so useless. The community is somehow placing it in the same category with place 79, but still, before I use this perk, will I subscribe to myself 100 times and get off to that. Place 88, Beast of my headaches. Your lust for a headache is so intense that your connection with the entity is momentarily lost, like yourself, making you totally unpredictable and looking dumb as fuck. Upon gaining the bloodlust status effect, Beast of my headaches activates. Grants the undetectable status effect for as long as bloodlust is active. Beast of my headaches grants 50% bonus blood points for actions in the dumb category. The bonus blood points are only awarded during the trial. No, I didn't change the text from Beast of Prey. Why should I? Bloodlust should already help you enough with getting fast as Sonic, and you will lose it pretty fast. Also, getting used to bloodlust would be bad because you will make the chases automatically longer. I can see how it can help you as killer newbie, but this will just influence your gameplay in a bad way, which we don't need here. God thankfully the community placed it into place 90, so let's move on before I'm getting headaches. Place 87, Territorial Imperative. Unlocks potential in your aura reading ability. The aura of a survivor entering the BDSM basement when you are at least 32 meters away is revealed to you for 3 seconds. Territorial Imperative has a cooldown of 20 seconds. OMG, I can see the survivors for the 3 seconds, if they should ever go down there to my BDSM basement for an item, is a sentence I will never hear, and hopefully will never happen. It's obvious that it is a filler perk from the Huntress, and I don't have any problems with you guys putting it in place 92. Place 86, Lethal Pursuer. You have been designed to track down and eliminate targets. At the start of the trial, the auras of all survivors are revealed to you for 9 seconds. Are we here at the shit show, or why are you ranking this in the A category? Did somebody hurt you, or why are you wasting a perk slot for 9 seconds aura ability to see where the survivors are?
Why in the name of Satan are you using this perk?
While crying your ass off in the DBD forums that Survivor needs nerving while losing the 300 RD time with this. And the worst part is, I really don't want to know which perk got sacrificed because of this. Hashtag RIP, place 18 got robbed, place 85. Predator, your acute tracking ability allows you to hone in on disturbances left by running survivors. The scratch marks left by survivors spawn considerably closer together. You're kidding me, right? Why do you need a perk which shows you the scratch marks closer together? What is the usage of that? I'm not willing to talk about it, I'm sorry, but this is just a joke for me. Place 84, Zanshin Tactics, unlocks potential in your aura reading ability. You are mentally disabled and aware that this is a perk for survivors normally. The auras of breakable walls, pallets, and windows are revealed to you within 32 meters. Are survivors and killers now switching sides, or what did I miss? Whoever the hell is using this perk, I just only wanted to let you know that you are not the survivor, and that you shouldn't use windows. Just for the record, I'm questioning you why this is a perk for killers. Sometimes I wish I knew a Dead by Daylight dev to ask such important questions, and why they always have to interrupt my upload plan. Things we will never know, I guess. Place 83, Surveillance, unlocks potential in your aura reading ability. The auras of regressing generators are highlighted in white. If the regression progress is interrupted on a generator, its aura will be highlighted in yellow for 16 seconds. Surveillance increases the audible range of survivors' generator repairing noises by 8 meters. OMG, we know if a survivor is coming back, but only for a few seconds. I don't know if I should be raging about the perks, or about that you guys put it in place 14. Are we here at the offering altar, or did I miss something? Stop rubbing the good perks their place away. Hashtag RIP place 14. I can understand that some people would party this perk hard, but I see now why am I seeing those shitty posts in the Steam forums. Place 82, Shadowborn, you have a keep vision in the darkness of the night. Increases your field of view by 15 degrees. Field of view gains do not stack. I have questions like why some water is ice but some water is clouds, why people aren't following me on YouTube, and why this didn't get a rework yet. It is so old, if I just touch it will burst into dust. It has some usage, which is killing it in my videos, but I think it needs some huge buffs. Place 81, Monstrous Shrine, your fervent care of the hooks found in the basement has aroused the entity's interest. The basement hooks possess the following benefits. Accelerates sacrifice progression by 9%. Increases self-unhook difficulty by 15%. Increases self-unhook penalty by 9%. This is the last perk, which is an FBTW. Yes, it is a niche, and yes, it is basically shit because it didn't get any updates to it in the last years, but I think there is some potential to leave the basement with SIA to get into a good perk. Killers like Bubba, Ghostface, Pig, or even Merciless_Witch are using the perks for quests like killing XY amount of survivors in the basement, but declaring it to the worst perk of the game from the community shows that the community rang is so survivor biased. Oh my, we are done with the F list. Please remember there will be a missing perk in every tier to make everything more interesting. In the whole, there were 12 perks in this tier, so let's move on to the next tier. Place 79, Hex. Thrill of the Hunt, a hex rooting its power on hope. The false hope of survivors fills you with excitement and strengthens your totems. For each totem remaining in the environment, Hex, Thrill of the Hunt gains 1 token. Survivors suffer from a stackable 10% action speed penalty per token to cleansing and blessing, up to a maximum of 50%. Grants a stackable 10% bonus blood points for actions in the Hunter category per token, up to a maximum of 50%. The Hex effects persist as long as the related Hex totem is standing. Yes, this perk somehow survived the fog, and got indeed just because that you are getting more blood points, and that survivors need a lot longer to do totems, which they will because they are making 24/7 boom totems. Yes, I know, I have a pretty strange taste, but if gets more buffs it can be maybe AC perk soonish. Place 78, Hex, Plaything, a hex that toys with a victim's suffering. If there is at least 1 dull totem remaining in the trial grounds, Hex, Plaything activates on a random totem each time a survivor is hooked for the first time. The hooked survivor suffers from the cursed and oblivious status effects until Hex, Plaything is cleansed. For the first 90 seconds, only the cursed survivor is able to cleanse the Hex totem. The aura of Hex, Plaything's Hex totem is revealed to the cursed survivor within 16 meters. The Hex effects persist as long as the related Hex totem is standing. Oh no, no heartbeat for 90 seconds. How could you? Seriously, if this perk would have had at least 120 seconds it would be C or B, but this is just too weak. And also, if all totems were cleansed already then this is useless, but I can understand if people would have ranked it higher. Place 77, Deathbound. Those whose lives are intertwined in darkness are destined to suffer together. When a survivor heals another survivor for the equivalent of one health state at least 32 meters away from you, that survivor will scream, revealing their location and activating Deathbound. For the next 60 seconds, that survivor suffers from the oblivious status effect when farther than 8 meters away from the healed survivor. There are several key problems with it because normally, that would be a C tier perk, but let me tell you why. Yes, you hear where there are but A, survivor having eyes and will see you. B, they don't leave any blood or moanings back for ya, so that means you won't find them that easy. C, 60 seconds are too short because this will only activate if they only 32 meters or more far away from you. I'm sorry for telling you, but the perk is just useless, kind of. I like the idea behind it, but that's it. Place 76. Unrelenting. You recuperate faster from missed attacks made with your main weapon. Reduces the cooldown of missed basic attacks by 30%. This perk is good if you are new with playing killer, but you will learn how to hit pretty fast. I really don't want to diss it here because it is a pretty easy perk for new players, so I think it doesn't need any changes and should stay in D. It's also funny that the community sees it in the same place as me because normally those guys love to butcher the places. Place 75. Insidious. Unlocks your camping skills. Grants the undetectable status effect after standing still for 2 seconds and until you are moving again. Ah yes, that camp perk which Bubbas loves to use. Don't get me wrong, camping is okay for me to do in my eyes because it is a tactic which also survivor hate, so it's more than welcomed here. The problem is that if you don't have an SWF group, which doesn't have an IQ from a bathtub, they will A, do gen, or B, save the person if you play a killer which can't one-hit everyone in 1 second. The problem with it is that you lose at least 3 gens, or more, which could also mean game over after that hook for you if they only have 3 gens to do, or B, just taking hits, and trying to get your aggression to ya. Please also remember that their perks like Kindred, Borrowed Time, Decisive Strike, Sabotage, Better Together, Breakdown, Babysitter, Breakout, and Medal of the Man, which will allow that the survivors do gens, will let them show that you camp, getting hits if they get unhooked or even get out of your grasp if they should be competent enough. Again, I'm not telling you not to camp, but I'm telling you that there are strong perks that counter you if you are not playing Bubba. Place 74. Mad Grit. While carrying a survivor, you suffer no cooldown on missed attacks. Successfully hitting a survivor will pause the carried survivor's wiggling progression for 4 seconds. I like the idea of the perk, but 1 to 2 seconds would be better for it. Also, the use case will be only there if you play against a SWF group, which has to tank hits then. Yes, I know that there will do this, but normally this perk is wasted except you make a build with Agitation and Iron Grasp, or to say, lose your perks which you would have used for deprogressing gens or getting faster downs. Not worth it for my taste at least. Place 73. Hex. Ruin. A hex that affects all survivors' generator repair progress. All generators automatically regress at 200% of the normal regression speed whenever they are not being repaired. The hex effects persist as long as the related hex totem is standing. How the hell did it end up here? Well, easy. God thankfully I waited till Sadeko came out because Sadeko's perk, Call of Brine, does exactly that, just that it can't be destroyed and get a notification if they did a good skill check. And even when Sadeko's perk would have been different, the thing is, Ruin is not that strong anymore in my opinion. There are better perks which will do more for you and even does the effect for you that the survivor will stop doing gens because they want to find a hex totem which is slowing them much more down or even killing it. Hex. Ruin is cute because it was once one of the strongest perks with the hard skill checks till they changed for the console players, but I think it will drop now more and more from the rankings just because of Sadeko. It served us well, but I think it's time to maybe remove it from your 2018 perk build setup.
But Merciless Witch, it is still so good. I don't want to remove it from my 2018 perk build. I would rather cry on the DBD forums. How could you put it so much down?
I'm not willing to comment on such a stupid thing. Place 72. Iron Maiden. You open lockers 50% faster. Survivors who exit lockers will scream and suffer from the exposed status effect for 30 seconds, and their location is revealed to you for 4 seconds. This perk is only useful for 2 killers, the Trickster with his 1-center knives from China, and the Huntress with her axes, which could be for other killers a main weapon already, LMAO. Also, I'm happy that this video is not in German because this perk is called in German, Iron Virgin. Why not Iron Excel's Behavior Interactive? It would be the same, trust me. Okay, jokes aside, this perk would be B if you add 20 to 30 seconds more into it because here again, I really do like the concept but nobody will use it if it's not enough time for even getting there. Place 71. Deerstalker. Unlocks potential in your aura reading ability. The auras of all survivors in the dying state, within 36 meters of your location, are revealed to you. I really wanted to rant about why somebody would use this perk, but then I remembered, the people who are new with playing, could it help it if they still use a 1-center headset from China? but I think they could give it a buff so that you can use it for a slugging build. Give this perk another 28 meters, and I would move it to C since we don't have any good slugging perks yet. Place 70. Overwhelming Presence. Your presence alone instills great fear. Survivors within your terror radius suffer from inefficiency. When using an item, its depletion rate is increased by 100%. Overwhelming Presence is a hit or miss. The problem is, there are killers with huge heartbeat radius and killer which are having none. Their perk or sometimes even add-ons which will make the heartbeat radius bigger and slash or smaller. And then the other question, if they use items and you want that they can't use it anymore, is there Franklin's demise for you here, or sometimes Lightborn if there are a lot of flashlights? I can understand this when you use it, but A, 200% would be better, and B, simply other perks are bitter and don't have to go in such a niche with a heartbeat build with Monitor and Abuse, Distressing and Tinkerer. Place 69. Remember Me. You become obsessed with one survivor. Each time the obsession loses a health state, Remember Me gains 1 token. Increases the opening time of both exit gates by 4 seconds per token, up to a maximum of 16 additional seconds. The obsession remains unaffected by this penalty. You can only be obsessed with one survivor at a time. Nice number, by the way. This one really hurts me to rank it so much down, because this perk is also somehow a hit and miss. Sometimes you will kill the obsession instantly, sometimes you will not even find it once. A maximum of 20 seconds would be good, because then it will be double the time than usually, and would help to build more pressure with Blood Warden, Node, and No Way Out.
How could you say that Merciless Witch, me and Survivor main find that another 4 seconds would be too often perk which I only play against 1 time a month? How could you? This is against the law.
Could you please leave, Mag? You make the video so much longer. Just go, please.
I will report you. I want to speak with your manager.
Place 68. Hex, the third seal. A hex that hinders the survivor's aura reading abilities. The last 4 survivors hit with either your basic attack or special attack suffer from the blindness status effect. The hex effects persist as long as the related hex totem is standing. This was the last perk which didn't make the cut to C, but let me tell you why it is weak in my opinion. Yes, aura reading is important, especially if the group isn't a SWF, but there is something called Discord or black boobles which will appear if someone is hooked. Also, usually survivor will find it in a seconds because it's a hex. Also, there are better perks to waste your perk slots, so please be kind yourself and only take it if you just don't have anything better. OMG, I finally can start to care about the perks now. In this tier were 13 perks. Let us continue now with Cry Please Somewhere Else, if you are using those. Place 66. Merciless_Storm. Your horrible trauma, Merciless_Witch, is felt by everyone on YouTube. Whenever a generator is repaired to 90%, Merciless_Witch will spawn a new horrible perk idea, and survivors repairing it are faced with continuous skill checks. If they miss one, stop repairing, or simply being rude, the generator becomes blocked for 20 seconds. Merciless_Storm can only trigger once per generator per trial, while the survivors are crying in the forum that everything is too op. I'm in the game now, I guess. I know that I'm so iconic and underrated, but this is just horrible for everyone else because I can do now unfunny jokes about it. Did I put in C just because of the name and let Hex, the third real, suffer? Maybe, but is it also good? Kinda. This perk shows me that 80% of the survivors are having problems with the skill checks, because it does help me a lot. The other 19,9% are sadly too good for such trolling from me, but it is also a pretty stable replacement for the replacement if needed. You may also ask what is with the other 0,1%, which is a good question that I will not answer just because I can. LMAO. Place 65. Monitor and Abuse. Meticulous in your approach, terrifying in your application. Your base terror radius is increased by 8 meters. Whenever you are outside of a chase, your terror radius is reduced by 16 meters while your field of view is increased by 10 degrees. Field of view gains do not stack. Yes, I put it so high because heartbeat increase and decrease will help you a lot because they can't always be sure if the killer is near or far away. However, again, this perk won't work on the half of the killers since they have 0 to almost none heartbeat, and you have to know how to play the killer since this can be also flipped pretty wrongly to the survivor's favor. Place 64. Unnerving Presence. Your presence alone instills great fear. Survivors repairing or healing within your terror radius suffer from the following effects. Increases the trigger odds of skill check by 10%. Decreases the success zone of skill checks by 60%. Hit or miss again. This perk is with Call of Brine or Hex. Huntress Lullaby a hit if you are a killer with normal or big heartbeat. This perk would have been probably higher for others, but I like to play a bit more stealthy. If it would have higher trigger odds, I would probably love it more, but it's stable enough for C. Place 63. Scourge Hook. Floods of Rage. You form a psychic connection with the entity and alter the rules of the trial. At the start of the trial, 4 random hooks are changed into Scourge Hooks. The auras of Scourge Hooks are revealed to you in white. Each time a survivor is unhooked from a Scourge Hook, the following effects apply. The auras of all other survivors are revealed for 7 seconds. I normally wanted to put it in D, but this is giving you more usage than you think. It helped me with getting the survivor out of the looping or finding them again. Also, this perk is good if you combine it with other Scourge Hook perks, but plus 3 more seconds would have been pretty good, or an alternative to barbecue and chili if needed. However, I'm shocked that you guys are running it to place 7 because A, I think it isn't that great for A or S tier, and B, there are other perks with better and more effects which are also easier to trigger. Place 62. Discordance. Any generator within a range of 128 meters that is being repaired by 2 or more survivors is marked by a yellow aura. When the generator is first highlighted, discordance triggers a loud noise notification on the generator. After the generator is no longer within range or is being repaired by just 1 survivor, the highlighted aura will linger for another 4 seconds. It's stable, but when survivor will notice that you have this perk, they will split apart to other generators which you don't want because then they can pressure you more. If they are all on 1 point, then it is better for you because you don't have to worry about other gens. It does help, but in the end it can harm you more than help you. It's also shocking that you guys placed it into 21, so please consider rethinking before making it much worse for you.
Hello Merciless Witch, I'm a professional pub player with knowledge of being professional because I watched professional videos about being professional in DBD. Ranking this perk so low is so stupid of you because you are not so professional as me.
Dude, it's just a ranking video.
No, you are just stupid because you're not wasting your whole life for video game like me. You will never have that knowledge because you will never be as professional as a professional DBD player like me.
Could you please leave before a script is coming out of the basement again?
No.
Place 61. Call of Brine. Your psychic abilities influence technology in devastating ways. After damaging a generator, Call of Brine activates for 60 seconds. The generator regresses at 200% of the normal regression speed, and its aura is revealed to you. Each time a survivor completes a good skill check on a generator affected by Call of Brine, you receive a loud noise notification. Yes, I talked about it a lot how cool it is for combos, and now it is in C. Haha lol. The thing is, if somebody instantly touches the gen again, the perk won't have any effect, and in the end there are better perks which are blocking gens, or even worse, shifting the gameplay to destroying totems. It is nice to have, but there are just better solutions. If the perk would regress to 300%, then it would be B or a material, but this is just nice to have if you don't have anything better. I also can understand why the community is placing it to 5, but it isn't my game style yet. Place 60. Bloodhound. Like a hunting scent hound, you smell traces of blood at a great distance. Pools of blood are shown in bright red, and can be tracked for 4 seconds longer than normal. Why the hell is that perk so high? Well, some survivors are trying to be sneaky and stop running, and I'm sometimes pretty blind, like really blind, so having that perk and showing my stupid me where to go helps me a lot. It sounds to be more controversial, but I really like it, and it hurted me to rank it so much down. Place 59. Dragon's Grip. After kicking a generator, for the next 30 seconds, the first survivor interacting with it will scream, revealing their location for 4 seconds, and suffers from the exposed status effect for 60 seconds. Dragon's Grip has a cooldown of 80 seconds. This perk could have been so good if there wasn't such a long calm down. Having a one hit just because the survivor couldn't wait is pretty satisfying, not gonna lie, but please shrink that cooldown to 60, or at least 70, because then I could imagine it for a good candidate for B or A. 60 seconds should be enough to down someone, especially if you are in the area yet, so if the cooldown wouldn't be so hurtful it could have been so much better. Place 58. Hex. Devour Hope. A hex rooting its power on hope. The false hope of survivors ignites your hunger. Each time a survivor is rescued from a hook when you are at least 24 meters away, Hex. Devour Hope receives 1 token. 2 tokens, 10 seconds after hooking a survivor, gain a 5% haste status effect for the next 10 seconds. 3 tokens, survivors suffer permanently from the exposed status effect. 5 tokens, you are granted the ability to kill all survivors by your own hand. The hex effects persist as long as the related hex totem is standing. Yes, I put it so much down because if survivor sees that you have this perk, then they will drop everything and start searching for that totem, and my lovely witches, they sometimes find it when you don't have 2 tokens yet. Yes, it is powerful but also so weak, because just one survivor has to find it and bam, bye-bye powerful perk. Also, if the map is bad to you, do survivors also spawn on the totem. So if you use it, you have to pack an Undying and Hex, Pentimento, which can hurt you in the short run, but can help you in the long run. I know that this one is controversial, but for me it never worked out in a way I wanted, so that's why I put it so much down.
你怎么能做这样的事情？
Who are you and why are still people coming into my video and make it unnecessary long?
现在就改变它，否则我会让你扎营。您将被删除所有锁卡积分。
I don't know who you are, but I can't understand shit, Nessa, so please take your traps and get out of here. And no, this wasn't meant in a racist way. Before #StanTwitter comes by and cancels everything and everyone here. Place 57. Knockout. The trauma caused by your brutal attacks makes crying for help painfully difficult. When putting a survivor into the dying state with your basic attack, their aura is not revealed to any survivor farther away from them than 16 meters. For the next 15 seconds, the dying survivor suffers from a decreased field of view, the blindness status effect, and crawls 50% slower. In my opinion, it doesn't need any change, but I just use it rarely because the effect is not long-lasting. I can understand that there is a usage somewhere, but for me it's just weird. I wouldn't be so triggered and put in D or F like you guys did, but also not in B. Place 56. Oppression. Life has been difficult for you, so you will make it difficult for others. When damaging a generator, up to 3 other random generators also begin regressing. Trigger a difficult skill check if a selected generator is being repaired. Oppression has a cooldown of 80 seconds. Gosh behavior, what are you doing with those perks? This perk could have been so good, and wouldn't be ignored right now by everyone if it has 60 seconds cooldown, and not 80. It's just regression, and it could also hit gens which weren't touched yet. Again, I like the concept and the idea, but it's just too weak sadly. Please remove the 20 seconds so that this perk can finally live, because nobody wants to stay in Bubba's basement too long. Place 55. Bitter Murmur. Unlocks potential in your aura reading ability. Each time a generator is completed, the auras of all survivors within 16 meters of that generator are revealed to you for 5 seconds. Once the last generator is completed, the auras of all survivors are revealed to you for 10 seconds. This perk isn't complete garbage, but giving it 2 to 5 more seconds for a gen would make it better. It is okay-ish if I don't have anything better, but it could need a buff to show everyone that there is something different than barbecue and chili. Also on killers like Freddy, Onryo, and the nurse is probably better than on other killers since they can teleport and other killer can't. Place 54. Coup de Grace. As the end nears, you go in for the kill. Each time a generator is completed, Coup de Grace grows in power and gains 1 token. Consume 1 token to increase the distance of your next lunge attack by 80%. No, I'm not kidding, and yes, I would rank it higher if it would be 100%. I play a lot of killer which can't press M2 to kill everybody or basically break loops with the M2, looking at you bird lady, so this comes pretty handy sometimes, especially on Huggy Eye. Yes, you can only have 5 tokens for the whole round, but this is enough to win a chase and get a free hook for it. It's also funny to see that the community is in the same opinion as me, so let's hope that they buff it. Place 53. Barbecue and Chili. A deep bond with the entity unlocks potential in one's aura reading ability. After hooking a survivor, all other survivors' auras are revealed to you for 4 seconds when they are farther than 40 meters from the hook. Each time a survivor is hooked for the first time, gain a stackable 25% bonus to all blood point gains, up to a maximum of 100%. The bonus blood points are only awarded post-trial.
Stop it right there. I thought you were my best friend, Merciless Witch. Why are you doing this to me? You used me in so many videos. How could you do this to me?
Bubba, the problem is, if you have over 3,000 hours in this game, you know where the survivors are. You don't need to know where the survivors are because you normally know, see or hear them. I know that the community loves this perk, but understand, this perk isn't that good for me anymore. Yes, the double blood points are nice, but I'm not willing to waste a perk slot for that. Can you please leave now?
No.
I hate my life. Place 52. Hysteria. You know how to brutalize one member of a team to cause a panic. Whenever you put a healthy survivor into the injured state, all injured survivors suffer from the oblivious status effect for 30 seconds. Hysteria has a cooldown of 30 seconds. I recently started to like this perk, especially with Legion, Plague, Hag or the Huntress, but I wasn't really sure where to put this. Since this video was planned long enough, I have to go over what my past self did, but if I wouldn't have such time problems I would have rank it in S or A and make the script new. Yes, it sounds weird because it is, but this is only perk which I misplaced, so sorry about that LMAO. Place 51. Enduring. You are resilient to pain. Reduces pallet stun duration by 50%. This perk is the last one in C, and it is only in C, because I want to have 70% not 50%. This perk is really good with Spirit Furry, but it only helps the combo with the reduction of stuns. But before we're going to be, I just wanted to ask you why, and I really mean it. Why the hell is that your place 16? Just questioning because I couldn't find an answer in the whole galaxy to that question. Okay, the good news is, we're almost through the first half of perks. The bad news is that Bubba, and some other folks from Twitter, are mad at me. My hands are hurting from writing this script, and we still have to go through the other half. Place 49. Furtive Chase. You become obsessed with one survivor. You lurk in the shadows, eliminating your victims one by one. Each time you hook your obsession, you gain 1 token, up to a maximum of 4 tokens. While in a chase, your terror radius is reduced by 4 meters per accumulated token. When a survivor rescues the obsession from the hook, that survivor will become the new obsession. You can only be obsessed with one survivor at a time. Reduced heartbeat is more of my thing, especially for jump-scaring streamers, my friends or even myself. It does require to camp a bit on the hook so that you can get the new obsession, but it's pretty fun. Especially if you play this perk with Myers or the Huggy Eye. However, some of you seem again to put it into the garbage because this perk is place 91 for ya. Place 46. Forced Penance. Those who stand in the way of duty will suffer harsh judgment. Survivors who take a protection hit suffer from the broken status effect for the next 80 seconds. Hey, I found Mad Grit, just in better. This perk with Mad Grit is just gold. For getting a second down, if someone decided to play the hero from the survivors. I sadly use it rarely, but it doesn't have any cooldown, so maybe I will try it out soonly. Place 47. I'm all ears. Unlocks potential in your aura reading ability, sharpening your keen senses in the dark realm of the entity. Any survivor performing a rushed action within 48 meters of your location has their aura revealed to you for 6 seconds. I'm all ears can only be triggered once every 40 seconds. Seeing where the survivors are if they should do a rushed interaction is helpful, especially in chases, but sometimes, I wish it would have been more than 50 meters. More can't I comment to it because it's just good. LMAO. Place 46. Blood Echo. The agony of one is inflicted onto others. When hooking a survivor, all other injured survivors suffer from the hemorrhage and exhausted status effects for 45 seconds. Blood Echo can only be triggered once every 60 seconds. This is pretty good because this will deactivate Sprint Boost, Dead Hard, and every exhaustion perk which could make the chase harder for ya. If you should have problem with chases, this is your perk, because this will make it so much easier to get the survivor, and also to a consistent flow of getting hooks like crazy. Place 45. Hoarder. You protect what little you have and are perceptive to those rummaging through your stockpiles. Hoarder triggers a loud noise notification for 4 seconds whenever a survivor performs any of the following actions within 64 meters of your location. Unlocks a chest. Picks up any item, including limited items. Hoarder spawns 2 additional chests in the trial. Survivors are greedy, survivor love items, so let's give them items, and you a new potential information where there are, and maybe let them lose that item again with Franklin's demise. Survivors are sometimes so greedy with getting back their items that they come back every single time till they dead. For me, this perk is one of the underrated perks ever since they give you information where the survivors are, but don't worry, I can understand why people would ditch this perk, but if you need something new, give it a try, really, it does wonders sometimes. Place 44. Infectious Fright. The cries of the unfaithful make your heart leap. Whenever a survivor is put into the dying state by any means, all other survivors within your terror radius will scream and reveal their current location to you for 6 seconds. You hate SWF groups, you hate getting blinded after getting the down, use infectious fright to avoid it because they will scream and reveal your location. This perk saved my ass so many times because some meg wanted to blind me and teabag me and also win round for me in the end. So try this perk out if you should end up getting wrecked again by a survive with friends group. I wouldn't rank it so high as you guys did, but it is understandable. Place 43. Thrilling tremors, your dark designs and shrewd composure rouse the entity. After picking up a survivor, all generators not currently being repaired by survivors are blocked by the entity for the next 16 seconds. The auras of blocked generators are highlighted to you in white. Thrilling tremors has a cooldown of 60 seconds. Unpopular opinion, remove the cooldown and reduce the blocking to 2 to 6 seconds so that the survivors only have to wait for 10 to 12 seconds. It's my go-to perk if I build an anti-gen build which doesn't require me to touch the gen, because my problem is that I almostly do not reprogress the general. Some would scream off, but mostly the cooldown is already pulled off if the killer got a new down, so please release it from the basement where the other perks are rot and make it great so that I don't have to ignore it 24/7. Place 42. Cruel limits. Your ties to the otherworldly manifest when your prey attempts to get away. Whenever a generator is completed, all windows and vault locations within 32 meters of it become blocked for all survivors for the next 30 seconds. The auras of the blocked vault locations are revealed to you for the duration. The good thing is, it isn't a hex, and you can get a fast down with it since everything is blocked, but the 30 seconds are a huge downer for me. I would pick it over 51 perks in this list, but this needs a lot more love. Give it 10 to 15 seconds more, and it's S material. However, ranking it into place 82 like you did is wrong, and won't comment on such a thing. Place 41. Dead Man's Switch. After hooking a survivor, Dead Man's Switch activates for the next 45 seconds. While activated, any survivor that stops repairing a generator before it is fully repaired causes the entity to block the generator until Dead Man's Switch's effect ends. Affected generators are highlighted by a white aura. Okay, listen, it is easy to counter this to just stopping working on the gen for a SEC, which survivor will do if they notice you are trying to play the 2022 boring perk build combo. I know many killers are thinking that survivors are brain dead, which is true because else I wouldn't had to upload a video about them on how to be nice as a survivor, which you should watch after the video, but they're not so brain dead that they counter you perks, because then again, survivors like also to counter your perks. Yes, I know so many YouTubers play it, and you want to play it too, but ranking it just on S because your favorite DBD YouTuber is playing it isn't doing it for me. It was already so nice to not place it on C, but this is just too much. Place 40. Hex. Huntress Lullaby. A hex rooting its power in despair. Your hunt is an irresistible song of dread which muddles your prey's attention. Survivors receive a 6% regression penalty on failed skill checks for repair and healing actions. Hex. Huntress Lullaby grows in power each time you hook a survivor, gaining 1 token, and affecting repair and healing skill checks. 1 token shortens the time between the warning sound and the skill check by -14%. 2 tokens shortens the time between the warning sound and the skill check by -28%. 3 tokens shortens the time between the warning sound and the skill check by -42%. 4 tokens shortens the time between the warning sound and the skill check by -56%. 5 tokens disables the warning sound. The hex effects persist as long as the related hex totem is standing. Every time a killer plays that while I'm playing survivor does that, killing my vibes. It's underrated because many killers think that this wouldn't be a problem, but honey, let me tell you, it is. The sound notification is a really important thing, especially for generators, so basically taking them will it reduce the gen progression since survivors will fuck up the gens. It will also lead to the survivor to find this totem and shifting the gameplay to doing totems instead of gens, which is an extreme combination with Hex, Pentimento. I know that a lot of killer mains are not playing this perk, so please try it out and give it some love please. Place 39, Blood Warden. As soon as one exit gate is opened, Blood Warden activates. The auras of survivors standing within the exit gate area are revealed to you. Once per trial, hooking a survivor while Blood Warden is active calls upon the entity to block the exits for all survivors for 60 seconds. Yes, I know, Blood Warden is a nice kind of, but it does help you when you get the chance to play it. To also make the chance higher for you to take full fruits from it, is a build for the endgame, almost a must-have. I also know that a lot of people wouldn't rank it so high, but in my case it helps me in a lot of bad situations. But sometimes I wish that this perk would be a hex, and that the doors are completely blocked till they unhook the survivor or let him die. It's a weird wish, I know, right? but in my opinion it would take this perk more into an audience and not into a niche. Place 38. Dark Devotion. The display of your powers creates a whirlwind of panic that spreads throughout the land. You become obsessed with one survivor. Hitting the obsession with a basic attack causes them to emit a terror radius of 32 meters for the next 30 seconds. You are granted the undetectable status effect. The obsession here is their own terror radius. You can only be obsessed with one survivor at a time. Giving them the terror radius for 30 seconds is again a niche, but which can't be played well with the perk Nemesis, not the killer, the perk, which will let you allow to switch the obsession with just a stun. This can be potentially scary for other survivors if they hear it, and lets you grab someone from a gen, or give you a free hit. I can understand that the community really doesn't like this perk, but I like niches, so that's why it is so much high. Place 37. Tinkerer. Whenever a generator is repaired to 70%, you benefit from the following effects. Triggers a loud noise notification for that generator, revealing its location. Grants the undetectable status effect for the next 16 seconds. Tinkerer is what I will call stable. It isn't strong enough to be A or S, but isn't also so weak that the community will forget it, that we're right now seeing because this perk is place 8 by you guys. I hope they don't change it 300 times again, like they used to be doing it with the perk, but I think Tinkerer is one of the stablest perk, and can help you with different situations such as having no heartbeat, and knowing where next gen is almost to pop up. Place 36. Fire Up. The increased pressure of losing your praise fills you with anger and gives you unsuspected motivation. Each time a generator is completed, Fire Up grows in power. Gain a stackable for % action speed bonus to picking up and dropping survivors, breaking pallets and breakable walls, damaging generators, and vaulting windows, up to a maximum of 20%. You hate pallets and vaulting windows, I got you. Many are ignoring this perk since they don't like chase builds, which is fine, but I like to block windows and being 35% faster at vaulting them with bamboozle and breaking pallets with 40% faster with this perk because of brutal strength. You can't also counter it, and if you should play this with Myers who does everything faster in P3, is that just so easy to get the kills and finding new survivors. Yes, you have to give up some Gendi progression, but you are ending those chases faster that in the end it doesn't care if you have them or not. I just wish that they would have buffed it to 25% max and 5% every time a generator is done, but I really love this perk if I want to get a survivor fast in chase. Place 35. Agitation. You get excited in anticipation of hooking your prey. While carrying a survivor, you benefit from the following effects. Increases your carrying movement speed by 18%. Increases your terror radius by 12 meters. I love those moments when the entities or the 4 survivors decided to give you the shittest hook spawns. This will counter that and allows you to hold your momentum, which is important for killers like Trickers and Myers, because usually they lose that momentum if they pick a survivor since they are slower and more. So having this can help you pretty much, since the survivors will do everything to lose your momentum. Place 34. Starstruck. Our unmatched showmanship dazzles all. When carrying a survivor, Starstruck activates. Survivors suffer from the exposed status effect while in your terror radius. The status effect lingers for 30 seconds after leaving your terror radius. After hooking or dropping the carried survivor, Starstruck deactivates. The status effect persists for 30 seconds for any survivor inside your terror radius at that moment. Starstruck has a cooldown of 60 seconds once the survivor is no longer being carried. The last perk which didn't get to the A tier just because of the 30 seconds. Yes, you can get downs, but yes, those seconds are mostly too short, especially if someone is using Vigil, because then it is only 21 seconds. For me, they would have to make the exposed effect 15 seconds longer or remove 15 seconds from the cooldown. Yes, it does help, and yes, it can be powerful, but in my gameplays with it, was it just a wasted perk? I also put it so high since I see a lot of streamers and YouTubers which are getting a lot of value out of it, but for me personally, it isn't that great. So that was it with the B tier. Some perks just need some adjustments because all of those perks would have had the potential to be in A, but aren't because they got nerfed to the ground. There were 17 perks in B. Place 32. No Way Out. You are not going to let just anyone into the VIP Super Duper Ultra room. For each survivor you hook for the first time, No Way Out gains 1 token. Once the exit gates have been powered, No Way Out activates. When a survivor interacts with an exit gate switch, you receive a loud noise notification, and the entity blocks both exit gate switches for 12 seconds and an additional 12 seconds per token in your possession, up to a combined maximum of 60 seconds. Yes, I put it so high because having 60 seconds before before they can do the doors is really helpful. Also, getting a notification where there are will help you get another stack for Remember Me, which will giving you additional 36 seconds before they can leave, aka 1 generator, if you would add those two numbers together and compare it to a generator. If you also pick node, it will give you 2 more hooks, atleast, and let Blood Warden trigger. Place 31. Gearhead. You have got an ear for well-oiled gears. After a survivor loses a health state, Gearhead activates. While Gearhead is active, a survivor succeeding a great skill check while repairing reveals their aura to you for 10 seconds, after which Gearhead deactivates. No, I didn't take drugs, I just like to know where the survivors are without doing anything complicated for it, especially if you play Hag, Legion, or the Plague, which will drive up the pressure for the survivor. I also like to take it because no survivor would know that I have it, and it is just simply good. Place 30. Nurse's Calling. Unlocks potential in your aura reading ability. The auras of survivors who are healing or being healed are revealed to you when they are within a range of 28 meters. It has been op since it came out, and it is still strong. Knowing where the survivors are healing to get some free kills is spicy, but isn't S material since the perk from the survivors, Boon, Shadow Step, will give you the effect that Hay won't show you if they heal in the area, or the perk from Jeff, Distortion, where he can block the effects from your aura reading perk. Personally, I don't like to use it that often anymore, but it is still powerful. Place 29. Eruption. The NE Alpha Parasite provides you with the intelligence and awareness needed to set a trap. After kicking a generator, its aura is highlighted in yellow. When you put a survivor into the dying state, every affected generator explodes and starts regressing, removing the highlighted aura. Applies an immediate 6% progression penalty. Any survivor repairing a generator when it explodes will scream and suffer from the incapacitated status effect for 16 seconds. Eruption has a cooldown of 30 seconds. When I shouldn't be red a root and should hit the generator, is that go to perk for me because reprogress the gen, or even knowing where the survivors are and giving them 16 seconds to do nothing on that gen is pretty strong, especially if you are coming back to the gen and infected again with eruption with Pop Goes the Weasel. I wouldn't call it criminally op or underrated, but it has its strong effects. Place 28. Hex. Retribution. A hex that lashes out upon its destruction. Those who cross you will be punished. Survivors cleansing or blessing any totem suffer from the oblivious status effect for 45 seconds. After cleansing or blessing a hex totem, the auras of all survivors are revealed to you for 15 seconds. The hex effects persist as long as the related hex totem is standing. If they should my totems, I should be allowed to see where they are going and shouldn't know that I'm coming to get them since they touched my totem. So yes, I'm a fan of it, but I can understand that hex Undying is for the other folks the better option to have their totem active. I wished more killer players would play that, because if you are Billy, Bubba, or any other killer from Dead by Daylight, you would guarantee to get a free kill. But crying on forums is for other people the better option, sadly. Place 27. Hex. Crowd control. A hex that ensures those lesser than you are properly herded. Survivors who perform a rushed vault through a window prompt the entity to block it for the next 20 seconds. The hex effects persist as long as the related hex totem is standing. You don't want to chase build, then take this and enjoy that survivors are killing itself in the killer shack or in the main building. But do you know what is worse? Ranking it on place 82. Did somebody hurt you? Am I in the wrong perk? Or why do you rank this perk so low? Windows are important for survivors, so blocking them without doing anything for it so good, I just don't understand. Most of the times I really don't understand the DBD community, and this time, I just can't understand them. I just can't believe that the community would so stupid to do that. Yes, I hate Trickster too, but this is not understandable. Place 26. Hex. Blood favor. A hex that gains the favor of the entity when blood is spilt. Whenever a survivor loses a health state by any means, and thus enters the injured state, hex. Blood favor calls upon the entity to block all pallets within 32 meters of that survivor's location from being pulled down for the next 15 seconds. The hex effects persist as long as the related hex totem is standing. So you want to tell me that hex crowd control is bad, but hex blood favor is better? Did someone or a YouTube shit posted something again? Because this reeks just like shit in here. Like crowd control, this perk is gorgeous to get the chase fast done. Really, I want an answer because this is just bullshit. Place 25. Iron Grasp. Your powerful grasp on survivors causes escapes to be nearly impossible. While carrying a survivor, you benefit from the following effects. Decreases wiggle effects, which cause you to strafe sideways by 75%. Increases wiggle duration by 12%. This perk is commonly used at the moment because many Survivor with Friends group are taking hits like crazy and can take you a while to get someone on a hook. Iron Grasp does help with that problem since it's not almost every second game where I'm going to play against a sweaty Survive with Friends group. I really didn't want to rank it so high, but had to just because of all the hooks it saved me. Also, almost deleting the wiggle effects is a nice touch since I don't have the struggle to get Survivor to a hook. But if I want to be honest, I really didn't want to rank it so high. Place 24. Ranker. You become obsessed with one Survivor. Each time a generator is completed, your aura is revealed to the obsession for 3 seconds. All Survivors' locations are revealed to you for 3 seconds. Once all generators are completed, the obsession suffers from a permanent exposed status effect. You are granted the ability to kill the obsession by your own hand. You can only be obsessed with one Survivor at a time. You can't avoid it, you can't destroy it, and it guarantees you a free kill, knowing where the obsession is if you should change your mind, or let you stun 100,000 times with Nemesis in the end game so you can insta-down everyone. I usually play this perk only if I have to do a challenge and don't have any Moors flying around. Place 23. Hex. Undying. A hex which maintains the vile powers that flow throughout the trial. The auras of survivors within 4 meters of any dull totem are revealed to you. When another perk's hex totem is cleansed or blessed, its hex is transferred to the hex, Undying totem, including any accumulated tokens, disabling hex, Undying instead. The hex effects persist as long as the related hex totem is standing. You don't like that your totems are getting cleansed. You don't like that you lose your hex, blood favor in a seconds. Then I have the solution for you. You will see them if they touch your totem, and if you shouldn't be there right in time, Hex. Undying got you covered with the ultra super duper insurance where it offers itself instead of your Hex, blood favor. Attention, Hex. Undying won't give your money back when any problems should occur. Also, your Hex won't be 100% safe from anything when any other question or visit. Why the fuck are you reading this.com? This sport was presented by the underrated and iconic Merciless_Witch, the channel which will be ignored by everyone on YouTube. Place 22. Hex. Haunted ground. 2 trapped Hex totems will spawn in the trial grounds. When either Hex totem is cleansed or blessed, all survivors suffer from the exposed status effect for 60 seconds. The second Hex totem will immediately turn into a dull totem. The underrated and crazy powerhouse Merciless_Witch has another product for you, the super duper crazy Hex. Haunted ground. You are sick of survivors touching your totem. You are sick of losing your Hex, ruin at the start of the round. Then I have the perfect product for you. If they should touch one of your beloved totems, they will be exposed for 1 minute and will guarantee you a free hook or sometimes even 2 or 100 hooks. The reviewers are in love with Hex, Haunted ground. Hear for yourself.
Hello, I am Merciless Witch biggest hater, I mean fan, and I just love Haunted Ground. Since she redeemed herself for me is my DBD experience so much better. The survivors are actual dying before I used Hex. Haunted Ground I just lost 300 times a row, and the few times I won back then was because they rage quitted.
You heard it for yourself. Get yours today. Attention, results can be changed every game and can be difficult to archive. Also Merciless_Witch is still an iconic powerhouse which is ignored by everyone on YouTube. You can't get your money back if any problems should arrive with the product. If you need any more information, then stop asking this video or the comments and start using Google. Place 21. Deadlock. You induce mental suffering by crushing any hope of escape. Whenever a generator is completed, the entity blocks the generator with the most progression for 30 seconds. The aura of the blocked generator is revealed to you in white during this time. Are we done now with advertising bad products? Yeah, good, because I don't like being dissed 2 times in a row in under a minute. Deadlock is a good perk if you don't want them to genrush the hell out of you. This perk saved me with eruptions so many times my ass because they couldn't work on the gen, and if they did that I blocked the next one already. Having those additional minutes is also needed since time is for you and against survivors. Place 20. Jolt. Your eerie presence charges the air and interferes with technology. When you put a survivor into the dying state with your basic attack, all generators within 32 meters of you instantly explode and start regressing. Applies an immediate 8% progression penalty. Jolt has a cooldown of 40 seconds. Yes, this is also a good combo with Eruption if I shouldn't have Deadlock and just ranked it over Deadlock since Jolt is free to get while you have to pay for Deadlock. I wish just sometimes the cooldown would be only 30 seconds or 25 seconds since 40 is for me a bit too much, but this is just my opinion. LMAO. Place 19. Brutal strength. Your great strength allows you to shred through your prey's defenses. Increases the action speed of breaking pallets and breakable walls and damaging generators by 20%. Removing pallets will be a thing which you will always be conflicted with, so removing them faster is a thing which you want, especially with the perk Fire Up. Some people wouldn't rank it that high, but since I'm not a nurse main, I have to remove them if I don't want to chase someone for 5 gens. Place 18. Sloppy Butcher. You know where to hit to make them bleed. Wounds inflicted by basic attacks cause survivors to suffer from the hemorrhage and mangled status effect. Hemorrhage increases the survivor's bleeding frequency by 100%. Both status effects are removed once the survivor is fully healed. For killers like the Legion, is that perk a must-have with Thanatopia, since if they stop doing gens and just heal, they will need a long time to heal themselves. Also, you counter Boon, Circle of Healing a bit, since they will heal themselves on a rate as if they would use self-care from Claudette, which are 32 seconds for a fully heal. Healing will be then a thing which survivor really don't want to do, and giving you free insta-downs fastly. Place 17. Calrophobia. Your presence alone instills great fear. The healing speed of survivors within your terror radius is reduced by 50%. Hey, this is a counter for Boon, Circle of Healing. How classic that the killer completely forgot about this perk, because who would have run distressing with this perk, because you can counter Boon, Circle of Healing with it. Yes, I'm a bit triggered that killers mostly forget that these perks exist, which could reduce the healing in Boon, Circle of Healing to over 35 to 40 seconds. Tell me this isn't op. So before crying again that boons are op, use your head for once and use maybe Calrophobia before crying in the forums. Thanks. Place 16. Spirit Fury. Each pallet you break magnifies the wrath of the entity. After breaking 2 pallets, the next time you are stunned by a pallet, the entity will instantly break it. You still suffer from the stun penalty. Well. How nice that the entitas wants to break for me every 3 pallets if I break 2. Spirit Fury is a game changer in chases, especially with Enduring, which reduces the pallet stun to 50%, or to say it, a chase breaker, if you can call it like that. I still can't understand why this perk is only place 48 in the community. Like, people, wake up, but for me it is a high A tier perk. Place 15. Mindbreaker. Your distressing presence drains and weakens your prey. Whenever a survivor is repairing a generator, they suffer from the blindness and exhausted status effects. If the survivor is already exhausted, their status effects timer will be paused. The status effect lingers for 5 seconds after the survivor stops repairing. I have several questions. Why is the universe a thing? Why Dead by Daylight didn't release 300 new DLCs? And the most important one, are you trying to kidding me? Place 63.
63.
Why and how could you do this on Earth? Survivors are working on generators 24/7 and blocking them the aura reading perk and giving them exhaustion, which also deactivates dead hard for ya. Really? Please someone explain this to me, which aren't Bubba or Meg mains, because this is just, I don't even find words for it. Place 14. Overcharge. You are fueled by your hate for progress. Damaging a generator overcharges it. The next survivor interacting with it will be faced with a difficult skill check. Failing the skill check results in an additional progression loss of 5%. Succeeding the skill check does not grant any bonus progression. Giving survivors disgusting skill checks without any cooldown is OP. This perk would be also an S, but I just wanted to have 13 slots in S just because the number is so beautiful. I just really love this perk because it's easy and you can spam it like crazy, like some hackers with hatchers in DBD. Just a tip, if you want to be toxic, take Hex, Huntress Lullaby with you, because this will make it harder for the survivor to hit, if possible. So yay, that was it with the A tier. There were 20 perks in A. Before we're moving on, I just wanted to tell you that I will reveal the last place perks before we will go to place 1 perk, because A, I'm toxic and I like to create a not needed plot, and B, it's more exciting for you, not for me sadly, because I did the video, but I hope it's exciting for you. Place 13. Thanatophobia. Their courage fades in the face of their undeniable mortality. Each injured, dying, or hooked survivor incurs a stackable 5% penalty to all survivors repairing, sabotaging, and cleansing action speeds, up to a maximum of 20%. Slowing down everybody else just because you hurted someone is strong. Hurt everyone with Legion or Plague and voila, a generator needs 108 seconds instead of 90 seconds. Not putting it into S tier would be like ranking Mindbreaker to D. Oh wait, that's what you did guys with Mindbreaker. LMAO. Place 12. Play with your food. You become obsessed with one survivor. Each time you chase your obsession and let them escape, Play with your food receives 1 token, up to a maximum of 3 tokens. Each token applies a stackable 5% 25% haste status effect up to a maximum of 15%. Performing basic attacks or special attacks that can damage survivors consumes 1 token. Play with your food has a cooldown of 10 seconds on token accumulation. You can only be obsessed with 1 survivor at a time. Yes, what an odd placement from me, but simply being faster just because you chase the obsession for 1 second and getting more speed for it is nice to have. Many survivors aren't thinking about this perk and getting completely destroyed when I play it, at least, since I'm so speedy like Sonic. I know that some of you are thinking that speed is mostly useless, but for most of the M1 killer who can't press M2 to kill everyone like the bird lady is a really important thing to have. Yes, you will lose tokens while attacking other survivors, but those are mostly easy to get them again. Place 11. Save the best for last. You become obsessed with 1 survivor. Each time you hit a survivor other than your obsession with a basic attack, save the best for last gains 1 token, up to a maximum of 8 tokens. Gain a stackable 5% cooldown reduction on successful attacks per token, up to a maximum of 40%. Each time you hit your obsession with a basic attack, save the best for last loses 2 tokens. When the obsession is sacrificed or killed, you can neither gain nor lose any more tokens. You can only be obsessed with 1 survivor at a time. Hey, it's unrelenting, just in better and stronger.
This is what you get for ranking BBQ and chill in C, but you can change that every time if you want to.
Yes, and I will always sacrifice it for it. Having a faster cooldown for basic attack lets you hit other survivors faster. I know I'm so intelligent. The community just places it on 12, which is cool to see that there is some brain left in the bath tube. Place 10. Grim Embrace. Your act of servitude to the entity has not gone unnoticed. Each time a survivor is hooked for the first time, Grim Embrace gains a token. Upon reaching for tokens, Grim Embrace activates. The entity blocks all generators for 40 seconds. The aura of the obsession is revealed to you for 5 seconds. A. How is this place 50 for you guys? And B. Why didn't I notice that perk from the bird lady? Because this is so strong. Blocking the generators for 160 seconds is just op. I'm sorry, but I still don't know why this perk isn't that much played. Those 160 seconds can help you to kill almost everyone or having longer chases with no problems. Guys, please take it with you because this is just sad to see this place. Place 9. Scourge Hook. Pain Resonance. Overwhelming pain reverberates outwards. At the start of the trial, 4 random hooks are changed into Scourge Hooks. The auras of Scourge Hooks are revealed to you in white. Each time a survivor is hooked on a Scourge Hook, the following effects apply. The generator with the most progression explodes, instantly losing 15% of its progression and starting to regress. Survivors repairing that generator will scream, revealing their location. This perk with any blocking generator perk, aka Grim Embrace, will reset the generator to 0. What more do you want? Again, this perk is from Bird Lady, so that killer mains are ignoring this on purpose, because I'm rarely seeing it in any rounds, and still seeing them crying on the forums. Place 8. Scourge Hook. Gift of Pain. You are the bringer of sweet pain. At the start of the trial, 4 random hooks are changed into Scourge Hooks. The auras of Scourge Hooks are revealed to you in white. Each time a survivor is unhooked from a Scourge Hook, the following effects apply. The survivor suffers from the hemorrhage and mangled status effects until healed. Upon being healed, the survivor suffers from a 9% action speed penalty to healing and repairing until they are injured again. I'm not willing to comment on the community place anymore because otherwise, I would be dead on the ground and asking myself in what universe am I live in, and why nobody wants to change that. This is a super counter against the chase build, which is decently popular, so again, how and why? I'm done with my life. Place 7. Pop Goes the Weasel. A deep bond with the entity unlocks great strength. After hooking a survivor, Pop Goes the Weasel activates for the next 45 seconds. The next generator you damage instantly loses 25% progression. Regular generator regression applies afterwards and Pop Goes the Weasel deactivates. Hang on a survivor, DMG a gen which will lose 25%. Yeah, that sounds nasty for the survivors. Pop Goes the Weasel saved me so many times from gen popping in 2 minutes, so it's deserved to be here. The only thing I don't like about this perk is that the timer is 45 seconds. I would have loved to see 60 seconds at least, but this is also okay. Place 6. Corrupt Intervention. Your prayers invoke a dark power that meddles with the survivor's chances of survival. At the start of the trial, the 3 generators located farthest from you are blocked by the entity for 120 seconds. Not only does that block gens and save you a 3 gen for later, it will also tell you where the survivors are spawned mostly. Even when not a 3 gen is almost powerful, so this is why I ranked it so high. Also, the survivor have mostly to run to the other side from the map, which also gives you time, since they can't work on a gen in that time. Place 5. Bamboozle. Performing a vault action is 15% faster and calls upon the entity to block that vault location for survivors for 16 seconds. Only one vault location may be blocked this way at any given time. Bamboozle does not affect pallets. Oh, we finally at the top 5. Yay! Bamboozle is one of my favorite perks since it blocks down annoying loops and gives you to one or another free down with it, since the survivors mostly see if they want to vault it again. The 15% vault speed are okayish, and it would be good if you would play fire up with it, because then you have 35% instead of 15%, which is again time you can need and what survivors aren't expecting. So this is for me at least a perk which I always love to play when I know that I'm too sick or exhausted in real life to mind game the survivors. Place 4. Franklin's Demise. Your vicious basic attacks make survivors drop their items on impact. If not recovered within 90 seconds, the lost items will have their charges depleted by the entity. The auras of lost items are revealed to you within 32 meters and slowly fade from white to red as the timer elapses. I'm also sick of survivors misusing their clicky click click clickers, and it's always so satisfying to remove that annoying clicky click click clickers out of their hands, or reduce the usage that they can't blind you or annoy the hell out of you. Especially in times like right now, where the survivors are hacking and trying to annoy the hell out of you, it is important to bring this perk with you to show them that they are not welcomed with their clickers. Place 3. Lightborn. Unlike other beasts of the fog, you have adapted to light. The auras of survivors attempting to blind you with a flashlight are revealed to you for 10 seconds. Lightborn grants immunity from being blinded by flashlights, firecrackers, flashbangs, or blast mines. Every time when they try to blind me, I smile, laugh like crazy because I know that they won't, and will accept that I have Lightborn, and it doesn't care how much they try to blind me. It sounds crazy because it is, but the survivors are still trying to blind you, and just want to accept that they can't blind me, which is mostly giving me many free hits and kills. I'm so happy that this perk exists in this game, and it is mostly in my builds. It deserved to be place 3, and I hope it will be there for a long time yet. Place 2. Hex. Pentimento. You reveal the true power of the totems, hidden within their remains. You see the auras of cleansed totems. You can perform a ritual on a cleansed totem to resurrect it as a rekindled totem. For each rekindled totem active at the same time, Hex. Pentimento gains an additional effect. 1 totem decreases all survivors' repair speed by 30%. 2 totems decreases all survivors' healing speed by 30%. 3 totems decreases all survivors' recovery speed from being down by 30%. 4 totems decreases all survivors' exit gate opening speed by 30%. 5 totems, all totems are permanently blocked by the entity. When a rekindled totem is cleansed, its remains are consumed by the entity, and it cannot be rekindled. Survivors are loving to touch your hex, and want to destroy them. Why not let them destroy them and debuff them like crazy? If you didn't know yet, I really love to let the other side suffer, and this is the perfect perk for me for letting them suffer and shifting the gameplay on doing totems and automatically stopping doing gens. I just love it, but it reeks that there will be maybe a debuff soonish, because this perk is just everything what I want. So place 1. There are 6 contestants for place 1, 5 last places in every tier, and 1 first place. Let's reveal the last place from D. Last place of D, place 80. Nemesis. You seek retribution on those who have wronged you. Any survivor who blinds or stuns you becomes the obsession. Anytime your obsession switches to another survivor by any means, that survivor then suffers from the oblivious status effect for 60 seconds, and their aura is revealed to you for 4 seconds. You can only be obsessed with one survivor at a time. Nemesis is strong with other perks, but alone it is just too weak. Like what brings it to you when you switch the obsession, and when they are obvious, when you have no other perk to give you a reason to play this. So who should we reveal next? Well, let's go now from C to A because I can. Last place of C, place 67. Trail of Torment. You guide your victims along a path of pain and punishment. After kicking a generator, you are granted the undetectable status effect until that generator stops regressing or you damage a survivor by any means. The aura of that generator is revealed to all survivors in yellow. Trail of Torment has a cooldown of 60 seconds. What the hell has that cooldown to do here, and why so high? This could be so good if it would be the half of the cooldown. Yes, it is good to know where they are working again, but what does it bring to you if you can't sneak on them anymore? Please give this perk a rework because it was almost in D behavior. Last place of B, place 50. Make your choice. Each time a survivor is rescued from a hook when you are at least 32 meters away, make your choice activates. The rescuer screams and suffers from the exposed status effect for the next 60 seconds. Make Your Choice has a cooldown of 60 seconds. Technically that is a good perk, but every time I bring it with me I really can't use it. I don't know what I am going wrong, but I just can't understand why I am always getting a different person except the person I want to have for Make Your Choice. I wish I could have ranked to A, but Make Your Choice just doesn't work for me sadly. Last place of A. Place 33, Spies from the Shadows. The crows found in the trial grounds can communicate with you directly. Crows startled by survivors within 36 meters alert you with a loud noise notification. Spies from the Shadows has a cooldown of 5 seconds between alerts. Yes, this is not a joke, and yes, I'm using it. Spies from the Shadows shows you what other perks wouldn't where a survivor is hiding. A lot of people do take this perk as a joke, but in my games where I used it, helped it me a lot. I don't know how I can describe it, but try it out for yourself. You will know what I mean. Okay, now we're left with 2 perks. One is the best in my opinion, and one is the worst. Our contestants for the first or last place are Hex, Node and Whispers. I will announce the loser first, LOL. Loser of all perks, place 92. Whispers, you have a rudimentary understanding of being read a route. You hear the sporadic whispers from being read a route whenever at least one survivor is within 32 meters of your location and is laughing of you. Why the hell in name of Satan you are using this perk? Who would want to use this? Did somebody hurted you, or why would you even want to buy it? I really don't understand, and I want answers. I'm so shocked that I don't even want to talk about it because this shouldn't even be in the game. The winner of all perks, place 1. Hex, no one escapes death. A hex rooting its power on hope. You are animated by the power of your hex totem when the survivors are on the verge of escaping. Once the exit gates are powered and there is at least one dull totem remaining in the environment, Hex, no one escapes death activates and lights its totem. Increases your movement speed by 4%. Survivors suffer from a permanent exposed status effect. Hex, no one escapes death remains inactive if no dull totems are available. The hex effects persist as long as the related hex totem is standing. This perk is so satisfying. Just one hit everybody, and then the panic which the survivors are getting fills is making me so excited. I just love this perk. This perk guarantees you a kill, and sometimes even a full team whoopee. Just ranking on 2 or 3 would be somehow wrong from me. This perk is always with me if I'm not feeling confident or just not skilled enough on the day. Wow, are we done now? Really? Finally, because I'm exhausted from it. Thank you for watching, and maybe watch my ranking video for survivor perks if you are interested. See you soon again, and have a good one my witches. Goodbye.